Welcome to 5-Star Company Culture with your host, Josh Cunningham. In this podcast, we explore how culture is the key to unlocking massive profits and unprecedented freedom. Discover insights, strategies, and inspiring stories to transform your life and business. Here's your host, Josh Cunningham.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the 5-Star Company Culture Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Cunningham. We have another amazing episode for you here today with yet another phenomenal guest. Today's guest is Drake Nightenhelser. Sorry, I butchered the heck out of that. Joining us from his trip around the world right now. He happens to be stationed in Cape Town, South Africa. He's on a year hiatus of traveling the world, and he's got some phenomenal stories to share with us today. So, Drake, how's it going today, man?
Doing wonderful. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Thanks again for taking time out of your worldwide trip that you're on, your journey that you're on this year, to share with our guests some insights and some experience about the transformation of company culture. You know, that's the main topic here on 5-Star Company Culture. We talk about how, you know, that is the foundation of an organization if you're looking to attract and retain the top quality talent. You know, the type of talent that vibes with your organization. You know, it pushes out the negative people, it brings in the positive people, and helps align with your goals and sets you on the mission to the peak of all of achievements. You know, 5-Star Company Culture also helps you deliver exceptional customer experiences, right? We want to make sure that as a business, we're not over promising and under delivering all the time. We want to make sure that we have a very set, focused deliverable, and that we're delivering that at a high level. So that's, you know, one of the other keys of having a 5-Star Company culture. And as a business leader, as an entrepreneur, a lot of times I see people who are just a slave to the business. They're just grinding all day, every day. There's no freedom in their life, which is probably the reason why they got into this business in the first place. But a 5-Star Company culture is going to help you achieve more freedom in your life, because you've got this family, you've got this organization, you've got this vibe, you've got these people that are performing at a high level, so that you don't have to be there micromanaging every single little decision. So today, Drake's got a phenomenal story to share with us. You know, his claim to fame: back in 2016, he took over the sales department of a vehicle wrap company, 7-figure vehicle wrap company, and he's going to share with us today some of the things that he witnessed, some of the things that he you know, changed to make a positive impact, and now how he's taking that experience to help other businesses achieve, you know, their goals and dreams as well. So, Drake, why don't you take it away and give our audience a little, you know, little cliff notes here as to what was your professional experience, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper into the transformation that you were a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, thanks again for having me here and for the wonderful introduction. But you know, right out of high school, to be honest, I jumped around a lot. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I spent a number of years jumping around. And in 2016, I found myself at that vehicle wrap company. I spent 3 years there. We really, you know, went through this amazing transformation while I was there. After that, I moved on to high ticket online phone sales. So I spent some time selling things like divorce coaching, marketing services, business opportunities, things of that nature. And eventually got tired of just the back-to-back call after call after call nature of that. So I started looking back, you know, with dreamy eyes to my time at that vehicle wrap company, and decided to make a business out of my time there.
That's awesome, man. So, you know, before we hit record here, you were kind of sharing a little bit of insights as to, you know, the power of company culture, and how, you know, sometimes people don't realize, you know, what their culture is, where it is, and where it could be, until, you know, you get some outside perspective, or you get someone starts to ask some questions, right? What is this? Why do we do this? You know, who does this impact? And so why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience at that vehicle wrap company? And you came in, you took over sales, you started asking some of those questions, right? You started maybe challenging the status quo, and came to realize that things could be a lot better than they currently would.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny you bring up sometimes we don't really realize what's available to us. I remember a couple years ago walking around. I'd just gone through a big transformation myself personally. I was walking around thinking, man, I'm so happy. Another few feet, man, I am so happy. And all of a sudden I went, wait, if I was happy, if this is happy, what was I before?
Mm,
You know? So sometimes
hmm
we don't really realize what's actually available to us, how much is available to us. But when I first started at this vehicle wrap company, you know, I was telling you I didn't really have any sales experience. All I knew was that I was good at customer service and communication. So I
hmm
really leaned on that. But I taken over the sales department, so I really quickly fostered this feeling of being responsible for the way the rest of the team experienced the business,
hmm
because what I sold into the business was what they had to deal with, and I just kind of sat at the top of the hill watching things roll down and seeing how it affected everyone else as that ripple effect went through the company. After not too long, I started asking, well, why are we selling this? Why are we working with people like that?
hmm
Because I'm noticing some of these things are low value projects. Maybe they attract not the best clients. Some of the clients in general, I'm just saying, like, hey, why are we putting up with this?
hmm
You know, um, can I not sell to guys like this anymore? And it was a bit of a struggle at first because there was this status quo that any sale was a good sale because money's money, right? Kind of
Right.
don't look gift horse in the mouth type of vibe. But slowly but surely, I was able to create a shift in what we sold and who we sold it to, and we got more particular until eventually we were really selling one thing and targeting a very specific type of client for it. And over a 3-year process, as we went through this, just the company culture in general just got a lot better. It wasn't poor to begin with. It wasn't.
Mm,
It was what I would say, probably most companies have. It was very average. Nobody was miserable, but nobody was, living their best life at work.
yeah. Yep.
you know. So as we started to become more particular, it was kind of uh, a tide that lifted all boats. We were raising standards in what we would accept in one area of the business, and it slowly but surely trickled over into the rest of the business. And people started to get happier because our difficult clients went away. We started making more money. We were able to pay people better, and just slowly but surely, things got better. People started enjoying work more. We started being more chit chatty, started enjoying each other's company more. We started to feel more like a team, and, just morale in general just went up.
Yeah.
And, like I mentioned before the show, before we started recording, some of those, grumbly, complaining type people that just kind of hang out companies for a long time and never
Oh
really
yeah.
go anywhere, but like to, spread the negative energy around. And, you know, there's always something to complain about. They're never
Yeah.
making big waves, but they're always, we had a few of those. And, uh, you know, as this transition progressed, this transformation progressed, they started to realize there wasn't space for them here anymore. There wasn't energy for that. We weren't being mean to them. We weren't pushing them out the door. But there just wasn't, there wasn't anything for them to feed off of anymore because people weren't engaging with that as
Yeah.
much. So they left, and so that helped culture even more. Then we were able to fill their spots with people who were a better culture fit, who were more in alignment with our new mission and our new goals and our new priorities, that were more experienced, that were able to bring, you know, their experience and their expertise to the table to help us make production and fulfillment better. And that just as you improve things, you buy better equipment, everybody just gets happier. And it was an experience where 3 years in, uh, leaving that company, things were entirely different. I've got like chills in my body just talking about leaving the company now, because I
Yeah.
remember looking back and just being awestruck
Yeah.
at how much different things were.
That's a great story, man. And I think, we can all feel, the transformation. We can feel the excitement and the change there. And I'm sure we've all been there before, been a part of some company, it wasn't a terrible, negative, toxic environment. It was just your typical run of the mill culture. But it isn't until, again, people start asking those questions. And, one of the, magical phrases that I think is a false philosophy is the customer's always right. Well, the customer's always right if you're willing to accept their money. Right. And so in your case, you were saying, hey, just because someone pulls out their wallet and flashes in front of us doesn't mean that we need to, conform to whatever their needs are, conform to their high expectations, maybe they're difficult to deal with, maybe their product or the service that we were delivering was low margin. And then, like you said, the internal effects as well, right? When you set someone out on doing this project, hey, the sales team goes, they tackle a new deal, then they throw it back to the team for fulfillment. And you're saying that's where you kind of witnessed and saw some of the negativity of the people's enthusiasm to want to show up and do great work. And so when you were able to identify those things, that hey, just because someone's willing to flash their wallet in front of us doesn't mean that that's the right fit for our business. We want to make sure that we work with the right customer, right? That we do want to fulfill their needs and their services and what their expectations are. And then the customer's always right. The customer's always right if you're willing to accept their money, right? And
Yeah.
you saw that internally. You saw some of the negative hardship that people had in having to fulfill some of these lower margins, some of these more difficult to work with customers. What were maybe some things that you did specifically to shape up the company culture? You'd mentioned like more chit chat in the office, more connection with each other. I always say a strong culture magnetically attracts the right people, but it also magnetically pushes away the wrong people. You ever get two magnets and put them on the wrong end and try to push them together? I used to do that all the time as a kid. But that's the type of effect that you have of those, negative Nancy's, the mumbling, rumor spreaders or naysayers in the organization. Like you said, if you eventually get to the point where there's no one for them to stick to, they're gonna be pushed out of the organization. So, what were some things specifically that you did to shape up that culture?
You know, um, I gotta be honest, there weren't a lot of things that we were looking at doing that were specifically focused around culture,
Hmm.
which is one of the reasons why the whole experience was so phenomenal to me and so
Hmm.
interesting to look back at and like, create a business around.
Hmm.
We didn't really do anything specifically for culture, but what
Hmm.
we did was we started paying attention to what we were willing to allow in business, because what you allow into the business is what it's going to continue to attract.
Hmm.
So we just started changing what we were willing to accept into it. And as time went on, we got a much more potent percentage of what was coming into the business being the high level that we were willing to accept. And as that percentage increased, culture just got better.
Hmm.
It wasn't really that intentional, to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and a lot of times it isn't, it's a lot of times when people discuss company culture, they think you're going to have to take the whole organization and, send them away on a 3-day retreat where they sit around and sing Kumbaya and, come up with vision boards and mission statements. But a lot of times it's about making sure that what it is that your company does, right, how you do it, and more importantly, why you do it, aligns with those internal beliefs of the people that are involved
Mm,
in the organization. So raising the standards, setting better boundaries, prioritizing that primary service that you focused on, which attract and brought in the right type of customer. And then when people are loving what they do, then they're going to deliver exceptional customer service and customer results. So, um, well, that's awesome, man. Glad you had that experience, and super excited to hear that you're taking that experience now and helping other business owners. I know you said that you have a program now a 7-step program that helps business owners, sort of launch that initiative and work with the right customers and create better boundaries and standards in their business. Why don't you share with us a little bit about your experiences with the new program, Profit Collective?
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, as when I got to a point where I just wasn't really feeling the monotony of sales call after sales call after sales call, I started trying to figure out what was next. And a really good friend of mine was, hey, like, what about all the stuff you did at that wrap company? And I was basically said, well, I just I sold wraps. What do you mean? He was like, no, you did more. You've talked about this, you've talked about that, and listed off some things. You should do some digging. So I started thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, like there are some amazing things that happened there. And I went on this journey to discover it, and the journey was writing a book.
Hmm.
I've always liked writing, so I went on this process of doing like 4 or 5 revisions of a book, and it came out into 7 steps. Um, like 7 really big things that we did that allowed us to accomplish what we did in business, which, we did things like, we increased client retention by 233%. We, dropped all of our low value work. We drastically increased client quality. We went from basically a snoozing mom and pop shop into this, you know, industry leading brand that was serving 5 states. And I took these 7 steps that we went through and decided to turn them into a program called the Profit Collective, where I help other business owners go through those same steps. So it's a process of raising your standards in your business, becoming more particular about what you'll accept into it by simplifying the business. That allows you to take back so much time,
Hmm.
so that you can now reinvest that time in working on the business instead of in the business to
Oh yeah.
just make it better so that you can land better clients, charge better prices, just do a better job at fulfillment, at providing a great client experience. Um, so it's really a program that's about taking business owners who have businesses that aren't really getting what they want out of their business, or it's not headed in the direction that they want, and helping them transform the business into the one they really want.
That's great. What's the name of the book?
The book is 7 Steps to Attracting Great Clients.
Gotcha. And who here doesn't want to attract great clients, right? That's
I know, right?
kind of a rhetorical question, right? Um, and you'd mentioned that you're on a worldwide journey right now. You're traveling the world. You're in
Mhm.
Cape Town, South Africa right now. Where are you headed next? Where did you come from? What have been some of the coolest things that you've seen?
Yeah. Basically, but last November, the girlfriend and I were just talking and realized that we weren't anywhere near as happy as we wanted to be where we were. So we decided the best thing to do is to go travel the world and live life at a 9 or a 10 every day.
Nice.
So we set a trip. We started out by going to Georgia, the country, for a little bit.
Hmm.
Then we went to Russia. My girlfriend is Russian, so see her family. I met her family, got to know, about her culture, things like that,
Wow.
um, which was really cool. We spent from there. We went to Bali for 3 months. Spent 3 months there. Um, Gotta say that the things we got out of Bali were not what we expected. You go there expecting paradise, and we got that, but
Hmm.
uh, there was a lot of growth in Bali, just in personal and professional growth,
Yeah.
because you get there and your money goes so far that a lot of the things that we use to sweep our problems under the rug with in the US, grocery shopping, cooking, cleaning, errands, just all of life, we didn't have any of those things anymore. So
Mm.
really have anything to hide behind.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of just little things that we had to work through that were, and it was really great coming out the other side. But um, now we're in Cape Town for a couple months. Um, After that, not entirely sure where we're gonna go, but I know we're probably gonna hit Russia one last time before we head to the States, so she can see her family again. But
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I didn't go worldwide, but I had a similar journey a couple years ago. My my wife and I, we just had our daughter, so our daughter was only about a year and a half old, and we same types of ideas. Like, hey, we're young, our kid's not in school yet, we have some freedom. I owned a business in Texas, but I lived in San Diego, and through having a thriving company culture and great systems and processes and talent to show up every day and execute, we were like, hey, why don't we travel the world while we have the opportunity? A lot of people wait until they're retired or on their deathbed to be able to embark on a journey like what you're on right now. So I salute you for taking action while you're still young, and while you've got some young legs. Go do some hiking, right, and some great white shark diving and things like that. But yeah, my wife and I, we purchased a motorhome and traveled across the country for about a half a year, and got to experience a lot of cool stuff that, I'm a frequent traveler, but when you just fly in from airport to airport, you miss all the spaces in between. And so, we had a motorhome and pretty much covered the entire western half of the United States, and got to actually see and experience the cultures and the people and the local flavor and cuisine, and of course wildlife as well, of many different parts of the country that I'd only seen from 30,000 feet looking out the window of an airplane. So to any of our listeners out there, you're looking for some inspiration, man, you want to go out there and see the world, take it from Drake, take it from myself, no better time than now. Tomorrow's not promised. So, you want to make the most of every single day. So I love that. Living every day at a 9 or a 10. Well, any last thoughts, Drake? I know that you said you're launching your new program, Profit Collective. If anybody wants to find out more information about that, or even the book, The 7 Steps to Attracting Great Customers, where would you send them to get in touch?
They can always find me at my website, profitcollective.vip. If they're looking for something that they can take and go implement into their business, I did put together a training for them. It's called 3 Simple Steps to Landing Great Clients, and it takes them through the first few steps. It introduces them to some of the concepts behind what I do, and then through the first 2 steps of determining what product they should be focusing on and who they should be focusing on selling it to based on their unique business. Then if there's also, that's completely free, like no opt-in, no nothing. If they would like to join my email list, they can get a tracker sheet, which is a spreadsheet that I've created that helps them track client quality based on the criteria that I help them determine in the training, so that they can get data on how they're doing selling that item to that person, and so that they can track it moving forward, so that they can be more intentional about bringing the right people into their business.
Listeners, we hope that you've enjoyed today's guests and look forward to your viewership in the future. We'll have more phenomenal stories, more transformations, company transformations, personal transformations to unlock more freedom and profits in your life, utilizing that foundation of a 5-star company culture. So, Drake, thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to 5-Star Company Culture with Josh Cunningham. Embrace these lessons to elevate your business and join the ranks of thriving organizations. Stay tuned for more episodes. And until next time, remember, culture is the key to your success.